For today's science lesson, we will be learning about evaporation and condensation. The title of this lesson is called, Where Does the Water Go? By the end of this lesson, you will be able to describe what condensation and evaporation are. You will know why they are both so important, and we will be introducing the water cycle. What is evaporation? Evaporation is the process when a liquid turns into an invisible gas called water vapor. What causes evaporation to happen? Heat from the sun warms up the water and tiny invisible water droplets rise into the air. This slide is showing some examples of evaporation that you have probably seen before. The first one is showing puddles drying up, and then the second one is showing wet clothes drying on a clothesline. So in these examples, it may look like the water is vanishing, but it is actually evaporating into a gas called water vapor from heat from the sun. What is condensation? Condensation is the process when a gas, like water vapor, changes back into a liquid. This happens when warm air cools down and can't hold all the water anymore. Okay. This slide is going to be examples of condensation that you have probably already witnessed before. The first one being whenever you can see your breath on a cold day. Whenever you breathe out the warm air, it turns into teeny tiny water droplets that you can see. And then next, which is shown in this picture, water droplets on the grass in the mornings. The air gets cooler overnight and forms water droplets on the grass. Those are both examples of condensation. An important fun fact. Clouds are made by condensation. Water vapor rises from the process of evaporation and gets higher, or as it gets higher in the air gets colder and can't hold as much water as warm air can. So the water vapor begins to change back into tiny drops of water. The tiny drops of water gather and begin to stick together, and when enough of them stick together, they form a cloud. And that's important to know because we are introducing the water cycle in this lesson. So as we just went over, the picture is showing the water cycle, and the cloud is labeled as condensation. Whenever it rains, that's precipitation, and the rain goes down into water like in oceans, lakes, rivers, and that part is called, that process is called collection. And then the sun heats up the water, and it evaporates, and it happens all over again. So why is evaporation and condensation so important? Because they both play a key role in helping water travel around our Earth, also known as the water cycle. When the sun warms up water in oceans, lakes, and rivers and puddles, the water changes into a gas and goes into the air. This is evaporation. Condensation is when the water gas gets cold in the sky and turns into little tiny drops that make clouds. Those processes are important because we all need water to survive. All right, brain break time. So you may push in your chair and stand behind your desk. We are going to mimic the process of evaporation and condensation. So, wiggle your fingers while reaching your arms up towards the sky. This represents the tiny drops in the form of water vapor being evaporated into the sky from heat from the sun. All right, next, you may walk around the classroom. We're going to mimic the process of condensation. Okay, now slowly huddle together on the rug. Okay, as it cools, the molecules lose energy and come close together to form a liquid. All right, you may go back to your seats. Right. This slide is going to compare how evaporation and condensation are different. So, in evaporation, water warms, and in condensation, water cools. In evaporation, the water turns to a gas, and then in condensation, the water or the vapor turns to water. In evaporation, remember the water moves up, and in condensation, it forms water drops. Okay, now a quick review. I'm going to go over the pictures first of some more examples that you've probably seen. The first one, water heating up in a pot. That is the process, that's showing the process of evaporation. And then the water vapor cooling, condensation, turns into drops. That can happen like in the bathroom when you're taking a shower, or your windows in the car, or if it's cold outside in your house. You may have seen that before. Now, what is evaporation? That's right, it's the process of water being heated up from the sun and rising up in the form of water vapor to the sky. Okay, what is condensation? That's right. That condensation is whenever the water vapor cools and it turns back into water drops. And then why are they both important? Yes, they are both important because they are a part of the water cycle, and we all need water to survive. Okay, and then lastly, I'm going to pass out this paper. And at the bottom, you will see that there are 3 different boxes you need to cut out. The first one is condensation, second's evaporation, and the last one is precipitation. And then after you get those cut out, you are going to glue them in the correct boxes. So you are just labeling this water cycle, and this is going to let me know if you guys understood this lesson or if we need to go back over it. All right?